Hello, hello, hello. This is Eric Poznansky from Lost Bull, your Six Sigma network. Yeah, I call it all kinds of things. Today I wanted to talk to you about something that's vital, that companies overlook so much. And this is why companies have turnover. This is why companies fail. This is why companies have quality issues. This is why companies have attendance issues. And what it boils down to is basic training for your employees. Not the military kind of basic training, but something similar. You have to have, as a business owner, as a small business owner, as a manager, you need people that can do their jobs. But not just the task of the job, but to understand the underlying purpose of the job. Every employee you have that comes through your door needs to be trained in basic skills. And what are the basic skills? They need to learn the basic lean methodologies, things like 5S, statistical analysis, measurements, how to measure. They might not do these things, but they need to understand that. Other things that they need to understand is the lingo. They need to understand what terms mean. Everybody may speak English where you work, or Spanish, or whatever the case may be, but they don't necessarily speak the lingo of your business product. So, if you are building electronics, or making paper, whatever the case, everybody has their little things, right? The electronics. Hey, what's a diode? You may be making one, but do you know what it's for? Do you understand what the parts of it are? The ceramic, what the numbers mean, how to read the numbers. Are they accurate? You need to teach people how to inventory, right? How to count. They need to learn hierarchy. Who do they go to when there's a problem? When they find a problem, what do they do? Is there a specific process for that? Right? Do they know what a process is? Do they know what tasks are? Do they know what value added means? Do they know all of these things? Do they know where the product goes? Do they know the order and things are done in the task? Do they know why that's important? Do they know what one-piece flow is? There are so many things that you need to teach each employee when they come in that will save you as a manager, as a business owner, not only money but time. Because people don't know these things. I've seen it too many times where somebody will bring in an employee, right? And they don't know anything. They don't understand lean processes. They don't understand why they have to do certain things, like look at parts and look for issues, or how much time it should take, or what the focus should be, or what the verbiage is, right? And what's their part? What's their part in it? The knowledge that you teach them in the beginning, before you even teach them how to do a job, how to pick up a wrench, or what to screw in, what to apply, what to write in a box. You need to teach them the basics. It's kind of like manners, right, at a table. You take a person who has very little knowledge. They might know what their fork is for, but they might not know what the difference between a salad fork and a dinner fork is, or why they use either or. Right? That's the thing. They need to know what things are for, why things are done in a certain way, before you even teach them how to make your product. Why? Because you need to be proactive and not reactive. If you do not teach people to be proactive, either one of two things is going to happen. They're not going to do anything. They're just going to let it go. Or they're going to be reactive. There'll already be a problem, then you're reacting to it. Understand what I'm saying? Is everybody is a firefighter. And it doesn't get to the level, the fire doesn't, what happens as a firefighter, as a manager, you don't get to start dealing with the fire till it's out of control. Meaning that somebody has passed a defect down the line, and now you're chasing it. It might have made it to the customer. Now you're dealing with the customer side, and you're dealing with trying to deal with it on your production or your office or your telephone lines, whatever the case may be. You are dealing with it now in a reactive mode. And that's too late. And so the reason for teaching basic tools, again, something like 5S, right? Why is it important? You have to teach these things to people so they will have that habit. It'll be second nature to them. They'll want to do those things because they know that's what they're supposed to be doing. How many times have you seen people just stand around? Right? I've done my job. I'm standing around. Well, two things. Idle hands. Again, I'm just going to say it again. Idle hands are the devil's tools. Meaning that when people don't have something to do because they've done it too quickly or they haven't done it right or you just haven't given them enough to do, they will look for things to do. And believe me, the most important thing for them is being social, right? They will always attract to another person. Or they'll do something devious. If they're not a social person, they'll be doing something that they shouldn't be doing. You need to teach them that if you don't have this to do, you have something else to do. And not picking up a broom. The most important thing you can do is, yes, they do need to clean if they're not doing anything. But even more important, they need to be looking at things in the process that may need to be checked off. For instance, checking to see that screws are tightened, that there's nothing loose, that they have the proper equipment, they reload what they need, they follow their processes, they write down issues, they look for ways to improve themselves by training in other areas. Asking questions that way, not socializing about somebody's birthday or what are you getting your kids for Christmas. And when you do teach these methods, it creates ownership. And I mean that a employee will own their process. They will always want to do better because they know that they are supposed to be doing something, but it should be subliminal. So it's not just about basic training at the beginning. It's an extended amount of training. So if you think you can just do this one time, and I've seen this 1,000 times, people come into a plant, they come into an office, they come into a position, and they're trained for 8 hours, maybe 8 hours, or less, right? And then they're sent to the line where they are training with other people on the line who, by the way, are also working. And they don't have the time or the structure to teach you what to do. Yes, there is a training method, train the trainer, or TWI. Yes, you can do that and quickly get somebody working. But they're just working. They don't know anything more than that. And then you want to hold them responsible, but you can't do that. Just because you tell somebody to do something doesn't mean they're going to remember that. You have to do constant training. And I'm not talking about sitting, watching a PowerPoint. You have to be active. And the best way to do that, and I'm working on a method now to teach this, is you have to do activities. You have to get people involved. And they have to understand what they're doing, and they need to take tests. Tests should never have ended in school, right? It doesn't mean a pass or fail. It means that you take the test, you have your employee do that until they have gained the knowledge and made their process of behavior. So if you do this whole thing where you do your training, and at the end you do a test, and they fail the test. If it's 10 questions, they only get 2, you need to keep going. As a manager, you need to keep going. As a trainer, you need to keep going until it is embedded, until it is second nature to them. And that's what they'll understand. That's what will be important to them, and they will use that without even knowing it. And that will save you time and money. It will also help you when you go to implement change, because people will understand why and what you're doing. I want you to try that this week. If you're going to train somebody for a new position, or if you have people on your floor that you have not done this basic training with, I want you to get out there and do that. You can do it one at a time. You can do it as a group. But you need to make sure it's interactive. That people are doing something with their hands while they're learning something with their eyes. And you will find that when you finally get there, especially if you don't have a moving line. If you have a moving line, you're lucky. If you have a moving assembly line, you are just the luckiest person in the world, because people are completely active and they're always doing something because the line is always moving. But that's not necessarily the case if you have somebody who works in a warehouse. Somebody works on an assembly line where there is no timers, there is no flow, right? And then you're managing a system that is open-ended. So you need your employees to know what they have to do, know how long they have to do it in, to make sure that they're constantly doing it, because it's embedded. It's their behavior, it's their belief now. You've got to create that belief. You create that belief as a manager. So, again, go out today and just teach the 5 S's. Look them up, understand them, and teach them to one person at a time. Write up a little test. Write up an activity that they can do up. Right? They can organize just paperwork is all they have to do. Organize paperwork into 4 different systems from a pile. And then just work that until you've got that embedded in their head. And they know what the 5 S's are. They understand what those 5 S's are, and then present it to them in their job. Anyway, I just want to say, hey, have a great day. Eric Posnanski again for Lost Bull. It's about time for Six Sigma. Always remember your lean tools and teach them to your employees, and you will be much better off. Have a great day. Thanks.